So it seems that Stephen Lawson's name has recently popped back up in the news. And this time, not because of anything that he's done wrong. So we all know about Stephen Lawson and what he did and why he was disqualified for committing adultery. So he's rightfully no longer qualified to lead any church in any place. That's not his place anymore. He has been totally disqualified. And I think he understands that, which is why he's been being low key out of the spotlight, which is a good thing. But here you have Protestia, which is a false church. I believe it's a Methodist church. And just to tell you a little bit about them, they were actually exposed for having LGBT tarot cards in their church library or church bookstore, I believe it was. So this is just a flat out false church, right? But my issue is not with Stephen Lawson here. It's with this false church. And what they did was they're holding a conference coming up, and they basically used Stephen's likeness to garner attention and to be noticed. So they basically put him on the lineup of the pastors that were going to be teaching at this conference. But the problem is Stephen Lawson had no idea that this conference even existed. So they basically lied and said that Stephen Lawson had agreed to speak at this conference, and Stephen had no idea. And when Stephen found out about it, he reached out and let them know that, no, that's not happening. Take me down. So this false church, number one, why would you want Stephen Lawson to preach at your conference? What does that say about you? What does that say about your discernment? What it says to me is you just don't care. What you're looking for is numbers. You're looking for a popular face who's controversial to cause up a stir so that people can find out about this conference and somehow your numbers will increase. Okay, this is a church that doesn't care about the glorification of Christ. Okay, they don't care about the honoring of the pulpit in itself. They just want to be stirred up. They want to stir up stuff. Okay, and so that's just wrong. So this is not about Stephen Lawson. This is about this false church that is dishonest. They're very demonic, and their chief goal is to exalt man, not God. And so, but I pray for Stephen Lawson. I pray that he is truly seeking Christ, that he is, I pray that, I don't know what's the situation with him and his wife. I pray they're not divorced, but that just goes to show you, when you see men like Stephen Lawson, prominent figures in the Reformed community who fall, it just goes to show you humbly that we're no better than him. As men, we have to put up walls to protect ourselves and to take this very seriously and to always hold deep the fear of the Lord, that we may not stumble just like Stephen Lawson.
Now, we all know, as in the book of Galatians, for example, the book of Galatians chapter 5 sets out for us that the Christian life is a struggle and will always be a struggle. But there's some problems in certain aspects of the Reform movement, not so much in Reformed theology as modern-day Reformed guys. They almost seem to boast in the fact of sin defeating them. They think they're super spiritual or understand the weighty matters of holiness because they say, "Wretched man that I am, and I am just a sinner." I want to tell you something. Some of that language is wrong. If you are truly a Christian, you have the teachings of Christ, you have the providence of the Father, you have the Spirit of God working in your life, and my dear friend, there ought to be victory over sin. Yes, we will struggle with sin, and yes, at times it will be 3 steps forward and 4 steps back. It is a real raging battle. But if over the course of your life you are not seeing victory over sin, it is a good indication that you do not know God and God does not know you. Remember what He says, "I will cleanse them from all their filthiness and their idols." If I were to describe my Christian life, if I were to look back on my Christian life the last 30 years, that passage applies more than any other passage. I can see God cleansing me from my filthiness and my idols. And He will continue to do so until the day that I die, because glorification is when we reach perfection.